Hey, we're back and we're kicking off Children's Book Week with two young local authors.
Yeah, their self-published book is called Lessons of a Lost Hat, and authors Anjali and Mishka are here with us to share more this morning. Anjali Zhao, Mishka Nazarani, thank you guys for being here.
Thank you so much for having us.
Oh my gosh, congratulations. First and foremost, you guys are both seniors. So how did this idea to write a book come about?
Basically, it started in art class where we met. Shout out to Mr. Manning, our favorite art teacher. Sort of came about and it went from there.
All right, so how do you guys come up with the storyline? I mean, was there a moment where you said, hey, we should write a book together, we should do this?
So originally, Anjali and I were in the library together, and she was telling me how she found out that anybody could just self-publish a book. And she was like, I have this idea, and it involves this girl, and she faces a moral dilemma, something about shoes. And then we kind of just workshopped the idea together, and we're like, we should do a girl who loses her hat. She has to face this moral dilemma, and we kind of just went from there.
Yeah.
But that's how it started, really, yeah.
And what is the lessons, would you say, in the book that you want the readers to take away?
We really wanted to emphasize how sometimes, for kids especially, even though the right choice is difficult to make, it's the one that you should take in the end, regardless. So yeah, that was the main idea and sort of inspiration behind the moral dilemma.
And what age group are you targeting with this book?
So we put in our Amazon ages 3 to 8, but when we launched our book in the Village Elementary School, we read to, I believe, 2nd grade and 3rd grade.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah,
that's pretty versatile.
So even at the older end of that group, 8, 9-year-olds, it still works for them too. Yeah.
Would you say that your experiences now, kind of going through high school, trying to figure out the next step, college, and the decisions that you guys have to make, is that kind of coming through too in the book?
A little bit.
Yeah.
I think it's celebrating our childhood as well as we step into adulthood. It's a bit of a memoir of how far we've come as well. But yeah, it's for the kids that are coming up, the next generation of children.
One of the things that's interesting to us is the collaborative nature of this book, because I think a lot of times you'll see an illustrator and then a writer, somebody in charge of the pictures, somebody in charge of the words, and from what we were talking about before, you guys do both.
Yeah.
Package deal, as you described it. How would you describe that process of working together when I feel like the roles aren't so clearly defined?
I mean, I think we work really well together, so it wasn't really much of an issue for us, but basically our process, Anjali would do the sketches, so she does a lot of traditional art, paper and pen, and I do a lot of digital art, so I have an iPad, an Apple Pen, and I use Procreate, so she would sketch them out, and then I would get to edit them and color them, and then the writing was kind of it was easier to work together on that, but that's basically how we did the illustrations, and it was a lot of fun getting to play around with color and
cool process
getting
that you
to see
guys
her art.
have. Like analog and digital, you're bringing it all together.
Yeah,
Meshing the two together.
What was the publishing process like for someone who's watching and they're like, oh my gosh, I'm so inspired by this?
So I think a lot of people think it's more difficult than it actually is. On Amazon, you can easily self-publish a book. It was definitely my least favorite part of the process, though, just because it's a bit more arduous compared to drawing, compared to doing the sketching and being with Mishka as well. So yeah, you just go to the website, follow the steps. It takes a while to get the nitty-gritty right, but over time it comes together pretty well.
Okay, what about another project? Do you guys have any other things planned, or what's next for the Lessons of the Lost Hat 2, or is the Lost Shoe? Where are we going with this story?
I don't know. Initially we were we thought that, oh, it'll only take us a couple months to do this and we should do another one. But truthfully, it took us a year. So yeah, and now that we're heading off to college next year, we probably won't be near each other, sadly, but maybe sometime in the future.
And remotely as well, we could work together.
Yeah.
There's enough demand for it as well.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm inspired now. Anjali and Mishka, thank you so much for being here. Really quickly again, where can people get the book? I know you said Amazon, but anywhere where books are sold?
If you search it up on Amazon, just the title itself, Lessons of a Lost Hat, it should be the first thing that comes up. So yeah, it's pretty simple. You just go on there, get the book.
Yeah, and we're donating all the proceeds to the World Literacy Foundation. So yeah,
it's going to a good cause.
Yes,
ultimately.
That is amazing. Well, we look forward to another book or another project from the two of you.
We hope you guys can reunite. I know it's tough going off to school, but you guys can stay in contact like no generation before.
I know,
we
right?
couldn't have done back then.
FaceTime, you guys have it all.
Yeah.
And you guys are going to do a lot more, I'm sure. Anjali and Mishka, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having us.
All right.